the first most important learning point that I want you all to focus on is high net worth markets and the opportunities that you have with these markets. You see, our business is like a heartbeat. The small cases keep you alive, the big cases make you rich. You need the small cases, definitely, but you need the big cases to make you rich. The small cases will always keep you alive. But if you're only focusing on big cases, you can flatline. So you need the small cases. Now, if you want to truly grow your business, you cannot enter a market that you don't even know that exists. We've got this mentality. Insurance is only for poor people. Because our rich clients keep telling us, Sanjay, I'm so rich, why do I need insurance? Guys, insurance was made by the rich, for the rich, to stay rich. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Insurance was made by the rich, for the rich, to stay rich. Please understand, there's a very big market out there that nobody talks to. We are so shy, we are so scared of talking to wealthy clients that we don't even take the opportunity to open up those cases. Well, some of us don't even know what to say. So if you had to learn one strategy for 2022, I want you to learn the strategy of opening up cases with high net worth families. That's an opportunity that's completely untapped. That's an opportunity that people have not even looked into. A biggest mistake that we make is we forget to talk to some of these clients. And when these clients give us the objection, Sanjay, I'm so rich. I mean, come on. Sanjay, I'm so rich, I can buy a hospital. How many of you have heard that? That Sanjay, I'm so rich, if I fall sick, I can just I'm so rich, I can even buy a hospital. How many of you have heard that objection? I've heard that objection a few times, right? I had one client of mine, he said, Sanjay, I can afford even buying a hospital. I'm so rich. And I said, Mr. Client, you're a very successful businessman. I absolutely appreciate that. But let me ask you a question. What's better business advice? Buying insurance or buying a hospital? I mean, seriously, why do you need to buy a hospital? You just buy insurance. You're covered in every hospital then. Buy the best medical insurance and you don't need to then worry about which hospital. What's the sensibility in buying a hospital just because you fell sick? Just buy insurance. We'll take care of the bills. What's the problem? Simple conversation like that will change the way people talk to you, right? I had one client, he's a multi-billionaire, right? And he said, Sanjay, I'm so rich, I can buy your insurance company. And I remember that client so well because I told him, Mr. Client, you are absolutely correct. I think you're wealthy enough to buy your own insurance company. But did you know that even if you had your own insurance company, you would be buying reinsurance? Because even insurance companies buy reinsurance. It doesn't matter how big you become. There's always someone bigger than you. There's always someone bigger than you. So it doesn't matter how big you become, guys. Every time I sit down with a client, there's not a single client that I know that doesn't need insurance. There's not a single client I've met who doesn't need insurance. Yes, I have met thousands of clients who cannot buy insurance. They're not insurable. I've met thousands of clients like that, but I've not met a single client who doesn't need insurance. And that is something I want you to remember. You will meet many people who cannot buy insurance because they are sick or they're too old or something else is wrong, right? There could be many reasons why they cannot buy insurance. But I've not met a single person who doesn't need insurance. And as soon as you get that clear, it will change the way you position yourself with your clients. So that's one very important point that I want you to understand. One of the biggest misconceptions that we have is, what's the meaning of high net worth? So when people say, I want to be in the high net worth client base, right? When we're looking at high net worth clients is quite subjective. So Is it $10,000 in premium? Is it $100,000 in premium? Is it $1 million in premium? What is a large case? I want each one of you all to define what is a large case for yourself. Because your definition of large might be my definition of small. Or my definition of small could be your definition of very small. So think about it. We're going to have different definitions. So you need to have a clear definition on what's considered a large case for you. Personally, for me, I would say a large case is when a client's paying me at least $100,000 in premium. That I consider a decent size case, right? $10,000, average case. But $100,000 is what I would call a decent size case. That's what I call a large case, right? Anything less than that is usually not a large case for me personally. Now, a lot of us think that we need to spend 5 to 10 years to enter the high net worth market. We actually don't need to spend that much time. You might have to just tweak what you're currently doing a little bit. You need to make very small changes to get into that market space. It could just be your presentation. It could just be the way you position yourself. It might just be something very small. You don't have to spend 5, 10 years in the business to enter into this space. And I want that you to understand that just because you've been in this business a long time means you're automatically working with high net worth clients? Probably not. I know a lot of old advisors in this market that have not even tapped into the high net worth market. I know a lot of young advisors who have already entered the high net worth market. So this is a misconception that I have to be in the business for a very long time to enter into the high net worth market space. It's a major misconception. The third thing is, which I thought was true, all right? So major misconception even for me. I like to sound very professional, all right? So I realized if I'm working with a very high net worth client, I need to have a very complicated, complex presentation. I need to sound the part. I need to make it sound like it's very professionally done. And I realized high net worth clients don't have the time for something that's complicated. If they don't understand it, right, they won't do it. They don't spend time on things they don't understand. They like to do things that they understand. The bigger your client, the simpler your presentation has to be. The bigger your client, the simpler your presentation has to be. If they ever challenge the simplicity, you should have the knowledge. You should have the knowledge to back it up. Please listen to what I said very carefully. The bigger the client, the simpler your presentation has to be. But if they ever challenge your simplicity, you should have the knowledge to back it up. Very important step that you need to know in this business. Complicated theories don't work. Don't make it complex, make it simple. I tell my clients, what I'm making you see is a simple big picture. There's a lot of details that go into the actual execution of it, but I make it simple for you. Because if you don't understand it, I don't want you feeling that there's something that's happening that you're not aware of. So guys, one of the biggest misconceptions is the bigger the client, the more complicated the strategy is. On the contrary, the bigger the client, the simpler your strategy should be. Now, there are 4 categories of clients that will work when we're working in the high net worth market space, right? We work with clients who are usually either self-employed or in a family business. So that's one category where they're self-employed and they've inherited a family business. These clients, what I love about them is when you work with these clients, they're inheriting a family business and they actually don't know, they have big shoes to fill. How many of you have worked with a young client who has just inherited a family business? What do you think is their biggest concern? They've got 2 very big concerns, which they will probably not share with you. One of their biggest concerns is, how do I live up to the expectations of my family? Because they've got big shoes to fill, right? How do I live up to the expectations of my family? How do I grow an existing business that's already established? How do I grow that? And a lot of children don't even join the family business because of that reason. They are scared that they won't be able to live up to the expectations of family and society from them. So they end up starting their own small business and saying, you know what, I'm going to start from the ground. I don't want to enter the family business. I want to start afresh because I want to make my own name. The reality is they're actually usually scared. They're scared that they won't be able to live up to the pressure of starting at the top. When I inherited my father's business, I almost collapsed it because I didn't know how to run it. I almost collapsed it. In 4 years, I almost had to shut it down. That's how bad it got. Guys, I did not know how to run a business. I'm a good advisor, but I don't know how to run a business. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to see clients who are self-employed. So what's the kind of advice you would give them? That is what you need to identify. Identifying the fears that they will have that they might not share with you. And that's why this KYC, knowing your customer, is very important. So learn to segregate your customers. Now, the second type of customer that you might be working with is somebody who's inherited a family business, but they also have an employment on the side. So they also have a job. I'll give an example. I have a family friend of mine. He owns a chain of pharmacies, right? But he's also employed in a company. So he goes to work and then he also has a business that's running on the side. What kind of advice would you give them? Think about the problems that that business would have. One of the biggest conversations that I have with these clients is, what's your exit strategy? So either what's your exit strategy from employment or what's your exit strategy from your business? You have inherited a family business, but you're employed. So are you going to stop your employment at some point in the future? Or are you going to exit the business, that you're going to sell the business and continue staying employed? So what's your exit strategy? Because it's very difficult to keep doing both at the same time. In case you fall sick, both of them suffer. In case you pass away, you lose 2 incomes, not 1. Think about it. A lot of people haven't thought about what happens to these kind of individuals. And when you spend time with them, you realize that they've got a different fear. Their fear is exit. How do they leave that guaranteed paying job for an unguaranteed business income? Because businesses can fail. Businesses can succeed, but they can also fail. If I have my job, I've got my guaranteed income coming every month. But what if I lose my job? Right? I fall sick and I lose my job. And my business starts to lose income at the same time. I have losses in my business. I've lost my job. It's a double whammy. What's your exit strategy? Think about it. The third category of clients that I love to also work with, these are what we call self-made business owners, right? So there are a lot of people who want to start themselves. Sanjay, I want to start my own business. These are very high risk takers because they want to prove to the world that they know how to run a business. So they take on a lot of risk. Their life is super stressed. And when I sit down with these clients, my biggest conversation with them is, you're self-made. You have started from scratch. You're building a business from scratch. You're taking risks that other people won't take. What's your backup plan? And most of these guys will tell me, Sanjay, I don't have a backup plan. I'm going to make this business a success. I know how to make it successful. I get it. I agree with you. I know you can actually make it successful. But what's your fallback? What's your backup plan in case things don't work out the way you planned? If something happened to you on the way, right? Your family cannot fail because a business can fail, but your family cannot fail. I want you all to think about this. This is a category of people that are all around you and they haven't figured it out. They haven't figured it out. They need you as an advisor, guys. And the fourth category, which I truly love working with as well, are people who are professionals. They are employed and they have gone in the career path of becoming somebody, right? Usually the CEOs, CFOs of companies that started right at the bottom and now are at the pinnacle of their profession. They are right at the top in their profession. What's their biggest fear? And my father told this story to me. He said, Sanjay, when you look at the corporate ladder, There's this very sharp sword, but it is being held by a very thin string that is hanging at the top. And whenever there's something goes wrong, it falls and it cuts people on the way. Now, if you're right at the bottom of the organization, there's a high chance it'll miss you. But when you're right at the top of the organization, that sword cuts you first. So we need to manage that. So in case you lose your job, in case you fall sick, in case you pass away, what happens to that lifestyle, that income that your family is comfortable living with? You are comfortable living with. You need to learn to give these guys good advice, because these guys feel that they are going to be protected because they're right at the top. They feel the power of a chair. They feel the power of a position. Have an open conversation with them. And these are your 4 major categories of high net worth clients when you're working with them. By the way, there are very few advisors who focus on these 4 types of clients or specialize with one of these 4 types of clients. So because there are very few advisors, there are very few of us who are successful in it, because we don't really have competition as advisors. You're not doing it, somebody else is. So if you're not doing it, I'm doing it, I'm making money. So I want you all to think about this, that why are you not in that market? The other thing that I've noticed is we as advisors are either generalists, we don't become specialists. So we try to do everything for our clients. We try to sell car insurance, we try to sell medical insurance, we try to give them everything. We like to do unit trusts, mutual funds, we like to do life insurance, critical illness. We try to do everything. That's the problem. Every one of you are trying to do everything. Learn to super specialize. I know we have always heard this, right? The blue ocean strategy and the red ocean strategy. The red ocean is very competitive. Everyone's biting off each other. In the blue ocean, you have your own niche. You become a specialist in that blue ocean. We don't have a lot of competition there. Guys, I'm showing you a blue ocean. High net worth market is a blue ocean. There are not too many people in that space. I'm actually telling each one of you, come into that space. Learn to become professional, because if we all become professional, we get recognized as a profession. We have people joining our business. Think about it. I really want my kids to join this business. That's why I'm telling you, there's a huge blue ocean out there that I don't have any of y'all in. When I'm sitting down with my BCC mentees, I'm telling them exactly the same thing. Guys, focus on bigger cases. Focus on clients who need real advice. They don't have advisors giving them advice. They've got third parties giving them advice. They've got the wrong people giving them advice, because nobody understands the concept of insurance. They know insurance as a product, but they don't understand what insurance does. And that's our job. That's our job, talking to clients on that. So there are huge opportunities that you're missing out on. I have a mentee from Singapore. She works very hard. She does about 200 to 300 cases a year. And when I started working with her, one of the things that I made her do was stop focusing on the number of cases and rather focusing on specific clients. She dropped her case count from 300 cases to 50 cases. But she ended up doing so much more business than she's ever done before. I have this other mentee, right? Always focusing on average case size was $25,000 to $50,000, which is already considered a nice case. But when she became a specialist with family offices, the way she positioned herself changed. And then all of a sudden she got inquiries for 10, 20, 50, $100 million in premium. And I want you all to think about this. She was already doing very well. But when she learned to specialize, her market truly just jumped folds that you would not even imagine. When she got her first $100 million inquiry, she didn't even know what to do. We ended up having a conversation for weeks trying to plan for that meeting for us. One of my other mentees from Hong Kong, right? He has just started focusing on risk management for C-suite. So if you're a CEO, CFO, he works with businesses specifically on how to manage the risk of maintaining, retaining, and recruiting C-suite employees. So a lot of people have not even thought about corporate financial planning, where they only focus on a company and help them retain their talent, focusing on making sure that they have the right employee benefits, they have the right insurance in place, the right retirement plan, an education plan for their employees' kids. How many companies do that? Imagine if your company did that for you. Would you leave that company knowing that your children will get free education if you stayed with the company? Think about that retention as a strategy for retention, where your company pays for your kids' university education if you stay with them. It's a very strong retention strategy. By the way, guys, the market is way bigger than you think. It's not the number of clients. If you think you're lacking clients and prospects, it's because you're not speaking to the right people. You don't know how to talk. You're missing out on the conversation starters, right? If there's one thing that I want you all to take away from today, is the 5 essential stages for the growth of an advisor. Now, when you are in stage 1, right, you're looking at doing cases that are around where you have an income, or case sizes which are around the $30,000 mark. I'm talking of US dollars, all right? That's usually where you are. That's stage 1 in the business. Stage 2 is where you start working between the $30,000 and the $100,000 premium sizes. I'm talking of premium. So you're in stage 2 when you get to $30,000 to $100,000. Stage 3 is when you start working with clients who are paying you a premium between $100,000 and $500,000. Stage 4 is where clients are with you on premiums of $500,000 and $2 million. And stage 5 is when you're crossing $2 million in premium. Now, if you're in stage 1, right, it's what I call the testing water stage. You're just trying to figure out whether this career is for you or not. And you're working on cases which are below the $30,000 mark. Now, if you're starting off at this level, right, remember one thing: financial planning is about the relationships that you have with people. It's not about the product, it's about the relationships that you build with these people. And that's what you focus on, whether you're building relationships or not. If you're not building relationships, it's a good time to leave the business. This business is about relationships. You heard that when we spoke to Cynthia, Kaka, Arvind, you noticed that. It was about the relationship. It wasn't about the product. It wasn't about the sales strategy. It's about the relationship. Now, what you'll be probably struggling if you're in stage 1 is that you probably don't have enough knowledge on financial planning. So invest some time to learn, right? Go on YouTube. There are a lot of videos that you can watch. You don't have to spend money on that. Go and learn financial planning strategies. Go and learn some soft skills on sales. It's already online. You don't have to waste money on that, guys. Learn the soft sales skills. Learn to network. If you're not building the right network, it will affect your net worth, right? It's an old saying, your network is your net worth. Learn to build networks. Learn to build relationships. Get recommended. And the most important thing that is going to be the most challenging part for you is differentiating yourself, positioning yourself as an advisor. Your identity is a very important part of your business strategy. If you don't have the correct identity for yourself, you're going to have a problem. So work on your sales foundation, get that correct, gain knowledge on financial planning, and more important, spend time understanding your products. It doesn't look nice when your clients know more about your product than you. By the way, clients are very aware today. So don't be the person where your client knows more about your products than you yourself. All right. And start speaking to your network. Start growing on that. If you are an advisor that's in this business, at this position, at this stage, it's all about hard work. If you're not working hard, you're losing on the opportunity to get to the next stage, because it's about how many people you meet. It comes down to that. And most advisors are actually stuck on this stage. Do you realize 80% of advisors are still on stage 1? They haven't even gone to stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. They haven't even gone up that ladder. They're still at stage 1. They're stuck there because they've not figured this out. So if you truly want to accelerate, right, set a certain guideline for yourself. Set rules of thumb. Number one, meet 4 people a day. If you're not meeting at least 4 people a day, you're not meeting enough. All right. Number two, track. You have to track your closing ratio, your opening ratio, your case size. Know what's your average case size. If you're not tracking your business, you actually don't know where you're failing. Most advisors that I interview, especially when they join the BCC program, when I interview them, they don't even know their own numbers. You could be a TOT, you could be a COT, but you could probably be stuck at this stage for a very long time if you don't understand what your business is good at and what you're bad at. If you don't know your weaknesses, you will never be able to focus on your strengths. This is a data-driven business. You need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. You need to find that winning strategy that works every day. You should know exactly what works and what doesn't work, even if it sounds repetitive. Do you realize I might be sharing the same ideas again and again and again and again because it works? If it's already a winning strategy, you don't need to change the strategy too much. Build the right winning strategy for you. And you just make small changes to it to make it better and efficient. And as you go through this business over time, you will go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. I know a lot of advisors that are still stuck on stage 1. Even though they've been in the business 20 years, they are still at stage 1. And that needs to change, guys. You need to also attend networking sessions. Our business is about networking. It's about meeting people. If you don't meet people, that's not going to change, right? So, very important, working on your USP. Very, very important. Now, when you get to stage 3, that's one stage that I truly believe. Stage 3 is where I was 10 years ago. So 10 years ago is where I was in the stage, where we're now talking about being one of the top advisors in the market. You're a COT or a top of the table member. That's our benchmark, right? So when you're at that benchmark, where you're that $100,000 to $300,000 kind of benchmark, you already feel successful. And a lot of advisors get stuck at this position. They feel successful. They don't feel they need to change. And they stagnate at this point. The worst problem during this stage is that you don't realize that you need to start restructuring your business. As soon as you start to stagnate, my grandfather told this to me many years ago. He said, Sanjay, if the sun doesn't keep rising, it will then start fading. Think about it. If the sun doesn't keep rising, as soon as it stops rising, it will then start to set. Don't let your business go into a sunset problem. You have to have the sun rising every day. So you need to learn to restructure your business and grow it from there. You need to think about other different high net worth markets. It's about trying to get one case that will be equal to 80 clients at the same time. Think about it. You probably need a new mentor. You probably need new friends at that same level. So think about getting a mentor for yourself if you're at that level. Think about what other top financial advisors are doing. Maybe there's a skill set that's missing, right? And that's what I want you to do. Think about even getting an assistant and a system in place that can work for you. A lot of people don't realize this, that when you're at this level, you probably need someone to help you get to the next level. You can't do it alone. I had mentors throughout this period of time. When I was stuck at this level, this was at least 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was just stuck. I was doing my top of the table. I was doing very well. I felt good because I was very young. But I realized I can't be saying I'm at the peak of my business at the age of 27. At the age of 28, I was already a life member. At the age of 32, I had done 10 years of top of the table membership. At the age of 32, I couldn't be saying I'm at the peak of my career. Guys, I'm 38 today. At the age of 38, I cannot tell you that I'm already at the peak. And that's what I need you all to understand. Even where I am today, I cannot be saying at the age of 38 that I have peaked. I can say that when I'm 60, I've peaked and now I'm going to sunset. I can't be saying that at the age of 38. that I've already peaked. Yes, I've done a very large target compared to a lot of people, right? So I've done 372 MDRT. I want to work to the next level. So my target next year, and I'm openly announcing this, my target next year is to do $1 billion in premium. I don't know of anyone who's done $1 billion as an individual. So my target is to do $1 billion US in premium next year. So I'm pushing myself to the next level. If you're asking me, do I know how to do it? The answer is I don't. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to be spending the next 15 days planning my strategy for 2022. So I'm telling you the matrices, I'm telling you the framework that I'm using to plan my strategy for 2022 as well. I want each one of y'all to understand, if you don't have a plan, you don't know what to execute on the 1st of January, right? Now, if you're at this level, if you're at level 3, if you're at stage 3, those are the mentees that I start working with. If you're new in this business, don't join my program. You have enough free content on YouTube. If you are someone who's stuck at stage 3, that's the one I want to mentor. If you're at that level, that's the mentors, those are the mentees I'm looking for. By the way, it's by application only. I only select people that I like to work with. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how well you're doing in your business. If you and I don't get along, I don't want to be your mentor, because it is a two-way street. We have to agree to irritate each other together. Just the correct words that Cynthia used. I'm going to take that forever. If we agree to mutually agree to irritate each other, those are the kind of people that I want to work with, right? Those are the kind of mentees that I want to work with, where we agree to irritate each other and not feel offended and not feel that this is a burden. That's the perfect relationship. Now, for those of you who are in stage 4, because I know some of you advisors are already in that $500,000 to $2 million mark. I know some of you are already there. The biggest problem that we have at this stage, right, is how to stay relevant. You will stop thinking about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. You have already gone into what we call the stratosphere. Now it's not about power. Now it's about thoughts. What can I change in terms of my business structure? What can I keep changing in my strategy on a year-to-year basis to push me even further? Now, these guys need the least amount of fuels. If you're in stage 4, these are the perfect guys to have as your potential mentors. So if you're looking for mentors, it's the stage 4 guys that you consider as mentors for yourself. People in this stage have kind of figured it out. They're out of the standard gravity of the earth. They are in the stratosphere, right? They're already in space. But now they're just trying to figure out how to push to the next level. So stage 4 are people that I call mentors. These are people that I like working with. They're already doing financial planning for multimillionaires, big corporations. So they're already in the right market, right? But if you don't do something new every year, you'll keep hitting brick walls. You will be hitting that brick wall, coming back, hitting that brick wall, coming back. And that's when the stage 5 strategy is working. When you get into stage 5, you cross that $2 million mark. You're coming into what I call a new world of strategies. And a lot of people have not spent time thinking about standing out from the entire crowd. You're so above that it looks like a brand new world. You look at opportunities from a completely different height. You look at opportunities from a completely different level. Your clients look at you from a very different level. Guys, that's the stage that you want to get at. Stage 1, 2, 3 is what we have been taught. Stage 4 and 5 is where you want to be. Stage 1, 2, 3 is what you have seen. Majority of the advisors are stuck at stage 1 and 2. 3, some advisors reach to stage 3, but they always get hit with the gravity of the earth and they get pulled down. Stage 4 and 5 is where you want to reach. That's how big our market is. That's how big the potential in our business is. Guys, I'm not the only one doing it. I know other advisors who are doing very well at stage 4 and stage 5. I'm aware of them. I work with them. We share ideas, we share concepts. Sometimes we even work together on the cases because they might be working on something that's very complicated and we might be sharing ideas at that level on how to work together. So guys, that's the most important thing.
You mentioned that for BCC, for people who are applying, you'll do a interview with them, correct?
Yes.
Right, and you're going to only work with people that you like personally, right?
True.
So do you have any tips for anybody that's interested in applying for BCC to maybe get on your good side? How do I know if I'm a good fit? That kind of thing. How do I know if Sanjay's going to like me?
First of all, guys, I like working with people who, so let me tell you the kind of mentees that I like working with, right? I like working with mentees who are very serious that this is a long-term career for them, right? They're serious about sales. I don't know how to recruit. So if you want my advice on recruitment, I don't have any advice on that, right? But I'm very good with sales. If you're looking at growing your business as an individual, you're looking at growing your sales strategies, I'm the right guy for that. It's very rare that I don't like somebody. But when I don't like somebody, it's usually because they're not serious about growing themselves. They're just looking at learning to train other people. So I'm not a trainer for trainers, right? Let's get that very clear. I'm not, a trainer. You're coming to me to learn for training other people. That's not my job. I'm not here to train trainers. I'm not a trainer myself. So you're coming to the wrong guy for that. I like to work with people who are serious about their own individual business. I want people who are genuine about their business. I like looking at advisors who know what's already wrong with their practice and want to learn that. The worst is you work with an advisor and he says, I don't even know what's wrong. Can you imagine you go to a doctor and you tell the doctor, I'm sick. Okay, what's wrong? I don't know. Where do you want me to start? Is it your stomach? Is it your arm? Is it your brain? I don't know. Something's wrong. The worst type of patient to have, right? And that's exactly what happens with mentees. Mentees who have not figured out what could be wrong with them. So if you have a general idea, right, it could be my presentation that's wrong, or that it's your prospecting that you're weak on, or that it's your objection handling is weak, or your closing is weak, or you don't know how to start conversations. If you tell me what's wrong, I know what to fix. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know what's wrong, I'm not going to be able to figure that out for you. Yeah. It's a mentorship, right? I can only guide you once we know what's wrong. And it's very important for me to know that from our conversation. The next thing is, when I have advisors joining the program, to think there's a quick fix, right? So I'll join the mentorship. Sanjay, within 1 month, you will give me an idea. That idea will make me TOT, or that idea will, get me to the next level. It's not about one idea, guys. Mm-hmm. It's a change in your business practice. Yep. It's about changing the system with which you work. A lot of people think I have a quick fix. There's no quick fix in this business. It's about building the right structure in place. If you build the right foundation, we will grow the building, right? There's no quick fix. Maybe there's one element of your business that I need to change. It could be quick. So I'm not saying it'll take very long, but it's about understanding that maybe there's a whole change in your structure that you need to do. So not everyone can have an instant change in their business. We have one mentee, right? She went straight from MDRT to top of the table, right? She didn't do MDRT, COT, TOT. She went straight from MDRT to top of the table because that was a quick fix. But there are other advisors who are at MDRT. They've done probably double MDRT now. They've not yet got to COT. So they've still got 100% growth in their business, but they've not pushed to the next level, right? So it's about getting that correct. Sometimes it takes time, and we all have a different learning pace. You can't measure yourself with someone else's success. You measure yourself with your personal success. Are you happy with where you are? Are you happy with your growth? If you're not, who's to blame? Mm-hmm. Knowledge is same, right, to all of them. Yeah. And that's what's important, is understanding that when I look at advisors who are looking at joining the mentorship, I want to know whether I like you enough to be able to work with you. It's a very intimate conversation that we have, right? We get to know each other on a personal level. You get to share with the family. You get to share with everyone around you. I focus on your positioning. I focus on the way you're branded. I'm focusing on all of that for you. But if you're not serious about it, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to work with you on that.